Hi, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Jada Bell podcast. This is episode 4, and I have a very special guest. My sister is here.
Hello.
Some people probably don't even know that I have a sister. Real quick, I have an special introduction, though, to properly welcome you.
Wow. Let me get
That I
ready.
wrote down. Yes. Okay. For all the listeners, not just people watching.
I'm honored.
See her. Welcome to today's episode of the Jada Bell podcast. I'm thrilled to have my sister Maya join us today. Maya is not only my younger sister, just a year apart though, but is also a newlywed. You had tied the knot on October 1st, and you're a proud mother of a beautiful 7-month-old, my niece. As the first and only of our siblings to embrace motherhood, we as her family have gone to watch her transformation. Growing up, Maya and I shared everything from friend groups, maybe probably not, you didn't
Not
like
my favorite
that, to life's ups and downs. But what we didn't share until now was your unique perspective on femininity and masculinity. She has a remarkable ability to understand men, considering their feelings and uplifting them in their masculine roles. She wasn't like this before. You weren't. I know, right? You like my introduction? She wasn't like this before, but somehow she gained a deep appreciation for masculinity, and I have learned so much from you. And I'm proud to have a sister I can run to for all my relationship issues. Therefore, I want to share with my audience, with all the people, my secret weapon to appreciating masculinity by bringing her on today's episode. So we'll dive deep into her insights on masculinity, her experiences as a new mother, and talk about a little bit your new book, More Than a Mom.
I love that.
You like it?
You need to give me that every day.
I wish I could have that by memory, so I just had to read it.
That was so nice. We're never this nice to each other.
People are probably like, oh my gosh, you have a sister. You know what, that saying where people are like, bring your sister. Do you got a sister like you? I get comments like that because of what I talk about, like masculinity and femininity and stuff. And I'll get men that says, do you have a sister? I do. Here's my sister. But she's married. She is taken.
I am married.
And you're gorgeous. Isn't she beautiful, you guys?
Thank you.
You're so beautiful.
I wasn't like this last year. I was 50 pounds bigger.
Right. So let's talk. I have a list of questions.
I'm a little nervous.
Why?
I don't know. This is my first podcast.
You look
and
look how classy she looks.
Classy. But it's my first time like being on a podcast that's like talking about me. Sweating.
I know. She's really private. You are a very private person.
And I don't mean to be. I want to share my knowledge and be more open, but
you're really wise.
I don't know how to just jump into it, but I guess here we are.
And she just started doing vlogs, you guys. Family vlogs. She just dropped her second one, so go watch her. She just dropped an ebook. I'm really proud of you. I'm trying to push you out of your shell. You are. You are. Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm really proud. It's like I'm looking at my like little sister love right now, you guys, and I'm like, I'm gonna be so proud of her today for all the things that she shares and talks about. Okay, so no, seriously, let's start with the femininity masculinity, because that's what my platform is really all about.
I'm ready.
And I have to tell my audience this. So I learned so much from you.
Yeah,
I really did, and I didn't know you had that in you.
Took time.
I know.
Took therapy.
No, but I want to specifically talk about when I called you, when I was going through that marriage separation when it first happened.
Mm-hmm.
I called you. I didn't really open up to you at all about my marriage or anything. We had like a period of time where we weren't really talking, for like a year or two. Apparently you were in therapy during that time because, then when I talked to you and I said, me and my husband, we separated and, we're done or whatever, you responded with just like so much empathy for him. Like you're like, Jada, that's so mean, and you're not
how much are we telling?
We won't tell
how it started? What the phone call was?
The phone call, yeah, I'll just be honest.
I don't know if cause
no, I told my audience that I broke my house down with my, emotions and my words and stuff, and then I had kicked him out. I essentially I kicked him out. It was like, oh, I thought he was the enemy. Yeah. I did share that. That's one of my more viral clips, actually, when I was with Kelly. And I kicked him out, and I was like, I don't want to be with you anymore, and stuff. But I thought he was the enemy. Like, I was so triggered, and I was so deep in, like, all my triggers and all my emotions that I just thought if I remove myself from this relationship, then I would feel better.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first did that, it was like a couple days later, I called you, and he was gone, and I told you everything. And I thought you would respond saying, you
Good,
know,
he's gone.
it's gone.
Get him out. Yeah.
And you said, that's so mean.
It was awful.
You
I can't imagine kicking out my husband
I know.
of the house. Like, how do you, like, when the toilet gets stopped up, there's plumbing
Toilet
issues.
gets
Like,
stopped up. We're in an apartment. We call the plumber. No, I'm just kidding.
oh,
But
I didn't have that option. But, like, you need a man in the house. So I was really.
You heard that, y'all?
I was really.
You weren't
shocked.
like that before.
Yeah.
So my question is, can you share how you developed that mindset? I don't even think we kind of really talked about that because, you know, obviously being my sister, you didn't always think that way. But then that time period that we really didn't talk
Yeah.
as much, and you were kind of growing with your own relationship. You were going through your own things. I was going through my own things. And then I had that conversation with you. How'd you get there? Like,
Yeah. So I met my now husband online. I lived in we're from California, born and raised, and he was playing football at the University of Kentucky. So we were online dating, decided to jump in and move in with each other. And the first year living together was really, really hard because I had no friends. He had this complete identity, his job, his coworkers, or whatever, like, are the players on the team. And I was starting brand new. It was also harder to meet people because he didn't have really anyone to introduce me to or anything like that. And he was really happy and really content with his lifestyle and what he was doing. Now here's me, like, well, what about me? Like, where's my friends? Where's my happiness? Like, where's my job? Like, how do I, get around here and enjoy Kentucky, which is a huge, like, culture shock.
yeah.
On top of that you're trying to adjust to.
From California, yeah.
The first year was terrible. We argued the entire year. I didn't think the relationship was going to work. I thought, like, this was crazy, kind of plotting my way out. And then going into the second year, closer into the second year, I did realize I really liked this person. There were a lot of positives, and I was remembering the reasons why I really did fall in love with this person in the first place. And then now you're living together and everything's all magnified, and you're like, oh, all the things you once loved about them, now I'm hating about them. So I did therapy. I actually got into therapy. It was for myself. I talked a lot about my relationship and how I felt like he didn't care to help me enjoy this place here. Every time I brought it up, he was like, that's not my problem. And that felt evil when you're telling somebody that's like really upset with where they're living at. I thought, it's your responsibility for my happiness here.
Whoa.
And he was like, no, it's not.
He said, okay.
Yes, he did.
Good.
Like,
That's
very
good.
stern. Because I remember just like, this guy's a little too stern for me.
Masculine.
Yes.
He came out
now,
not responsible for your happiness.
Yeah, at all. He actually said those words. So, got into therapy, couple sessions in. She really broke it down to me that all the things I'm wanting now in him to do, I need to go figure out how to do that stuff on my own. So now I'm off of his case, and like my friend. So one thing that was really big is, okay, let's find you some friends, because now you're wanting him to emotionally support you, to have deep conversations with you every night, do this, do that, be proud of this, be proud of that, show you around Kentucky, show you, and all this stuff. And instead of putting all of that on him, I can go find friends to fulfill those roles.
Wow.
So that was the first big thing, was putting myself out there a lot more, and on my own too, which felt really good to go find my own friends out there, which I did. Now I have lifelong friends there that I met there that I love.
That's amazing.
Dearly. So that's kind of how I started with the therapy.
Okay. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about something you just said, is that he had his own identity. And so did you develop, like, where your mindset just started to develop, where you really appreciated masculinity, was because he had his own identity?
That's actually one of the reasons why I fell in love with him, was because he was so confident and happy with who he was and what he was doing. And I admired that. I was just like, wow, like he loves what he's doing, loves playing football. He has his own friends. We don't combine friends or anything like that. So when I moved in, I started hating those things. But yeah, that really brought me back to the reasons why I fell in love with him, was just how he did have his own identity and his own stuff together, and actually ended up starting to inspire me to do the same, and which I did. Yeah.
So another thing I have to ask you and talk to you about is that it seems like through your relationship as well, you've really learned about masculine traits, because from you, I was trying to more make my husband a female. I think a lot of women struggle with doing this.
Yeah.
It's that we want to make them more like us in certain ways, and we can dive into ways that women do that. But you really taught me when I come to you about relationship problems and I say, oh, well, he's doing this, and you'll say things like, well, good, it's good he's putting his foot down. Do you want him to be a female? You want him to, you said the B word actually specifically, but do you want him to be like that? You need to start loving and falling in love with him putting his foot down and having direction and order and being assertive and being a man. And so I want to kind of ask how you developed like a love for that specifically too, and your advice on that for women who are struggling with making their men more like females.
Yeah. So going back to my therapist, kind of uncovering all of those parts, but I started to resent him and not respect him. And I had a problem in the past dating guys where I would kind of try to overpower them and be the more dominant one, and it never worked. You lose respect, you don't like them anymore eventually, and you go about your own way. And I didn't want to fall back into those same habits in this relationship. He also really wasn't letting me, which was where we were really colliding and bumping heads. Yes. So
he wasn't letting you walk all over him.
He wasn't. And it was just
and how was he not letting you walk all over him?
He really had his foot down. It was with the emotions, like, oh, maybe I'm upset about this or upset about that. And instead of kind of babying me and nurturing me, it was like, okay, well, I'm sorry, let's move past it. And I was just like, just because he said, hey, let's move past it doesn't mean I moved past it. Ooh. Like, I need more. I need this. I need, like, let me cry. Let me be mad. So this is where females really need female friends. And I learned that really bad. And maybe not everybody, but putting too much on your man is not what you want to do. It just turns them into having female traits, or the relationship doesn't work out. But you'll end up having more respect for your man when you let him stay in his own masculine role and you go find feminine friends. So I would, when I was upset about this or upset about that, my therapist would say, okay, well, is it that big of an issue to go bring it to him? Or is this something you can sit with yourself on? Or maybe go talk to some girlfriends about, hash it out, and you're over those feelings that you need to fulfill inside about being understood, about this or that. Do you really need to bring it to him? Is it that big of a deal?
Wow.
You know?
Women do struggle with more. It's
like, I want
more.
What is the word? Like,
never fulfilled.
Yeah, that's what I was learning. Yeah. So, I'll bring her like an argument. I can't even remember what it was. And I remember she was like, okay, well, let's sit and say, like, can you sit with this yourself, process it yourself, get over it yourself? Or is this really a big issue in your relationship that you need to bring it to his attention and have a conversation about? And majority of the time I really was like, you're right. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not that serious. I can go talk to a girlfriend about it now that I'm meeting friends, girls that you can trust, and get whatever I need out of it, validation from my girlfriend being, yeah, girl, whatever it is, and be over it. So I've now fast forward, it's crazy because there'll be little comments or maybe a little disagreement, and I'm really good now at just going and sitting with myself and just being like, he's a man. I don't even care. It is what it is.
That's a good.
I want to have a good day. He still wants to have a good day. Men don't know how to get into those emotional states with women. They don't know how. And when you try to pull that, try to pull a man to be like that, I don't know how deep we're going to go. But that plays with testosterone as well. So you don't want to play with a man's testosterone.
I tell this to clients of mine that
You
come to me
do?
for coaching. I said that it lowers the testosterone.
It
There's a study
does.
done that it lowers the testosterone when you argue with them. It produces more estrogen in them, and then they become more feminine.
And it's not even cute. You don't want that.
Wow.
It doesn't work in the long run in a marriage. In a long run, to have a feminine husband when you also are a whole woman yourself. Sometimes we just need to go be around other feminine women, other energy like that, to talk or whatever, get those emotions out. It's not even attractive. Like I said, I would date guys in the past where I could pull them into that role. And, it's kind of manipulation if you think about it.
Yeah.
Whether now their testosterone is lowered, and eventually within months
they'll cheat too.
They'll cheat too because they want to go feel masculine,
and they want the testosterone.
They
so
do.
They'll go chase it after getting it from another woman that'll make them feel manly.
That part.
And so you have to allow. Yeah, we're getting
and
deep right here.
I was cheated on in all of my relationships prior to this one.
Same.
And I have to take responsibility that I kind of pulled them into that role of being a really feminine man because they once weren't that way. So you really gotta have some self-control.
I'm blessed for the sister I have. I mean, you've saved me and pulled me out of so many things.
Yeah.
So kind of going back into a man being a man, because you said that, I thought that was interesting. You said, he's a man. So can we just kind of talk about, like, what is your perception of a man? Like, what makes a man to you? Because you know that I'm going to just get raw and just real with you since you're here. These are the conversations me and my sister really do have. But, like, there's some men that, like, they just don't take certain things very seriously, and that really does hurt, like, a woman sometimes. And us women, like, you'll see on TikTok, like, a woman be like, oh, my man, like, he didn't even seem to care. Like, when I was in the birthing room, right? Although some men do really care, but some men, like, maybe before, when you're going through labor, they want to play the video game. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I don't mind talking about that.
Okay, go ahead.
She's trying to throw a little story out there. When I gave birth, I told my husband it was okay, because I was getting induced and it was going to be a long process, that he could bring his video games into the hospital room.
Which is fine. I don't think that's wrong, too. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a long process.
We were there for 24 hours. So, before I gave birth. So yeah, what you're talking about is moments leading up to me pushing. My doctor came in and was like, okay, we're going to start doing some practice pushes. And he was kind of like, okay, he heard the word practice, I guess. So he was doing his own thing. And then she was like, okay, we're going to do some real pushes now. And I think he didn't comprehend the difference between practice. Now real pushes means the baby's really gonna come in the next 10 minutes. So he was flipping the channel on the TV when I was doing some real pushes, and I got super upset about it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, honestly, crazy, but I had one conversation. He was like, oh, I didn't even realize it was practice. And I could have chose to still be mad and to still hold that to him till this day, which would just put a tear in our own relationship anyway. So why do that? Or I could choose to forgive it.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, he didn't know. He's not a woman. He's not even in the situation. It is what it is. And I think that's the big thing, is just you can choose how you turn the situation around.
Yeah.
You can choose for it not to go as far as it needs to go, or to just forgive. And forgiveness it's hard to do, but you got to choose every day to just forgive.
Mm-hmm. But even everything you said, I mean, that's going to trigger some women, because there are some women that are in very emotional states, and maybe they had a really
100%.
traumatic birthing experience with a man that did not care at all and stuff. But like how I'm inspired by you, how like you can take little situations that other people will make a really big deal.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, you know what, you didn't know, or you expressed to me that you didn't know, and we were able to move forward, and you were there holding my hand and excited about the whole process. So I'm going to leave that alone. And there's some people that really do hold on to those little moments and have deep resentment, and it does cause tears in their relationship. So one thing you have done is really help me, like when I come to you with something, it's like, okay, either what happened after, or like, is this something you could just like move on from? Because just like what you said, I'm kind of going on a tangent, but you can pick and choose your battles. And I actually teach some of my clients this thing where it's like, choose one thing a week to have an issue about.
I love that.
I try to do that with
and
myself.
1 week, that's a lot.
long time.
A week that's a lot of
time.
like,
but what it did, I struggled so bad with my emotions, I would fight maybe 4 or 5 times a day. So to do one a week was really to train myself that you have to think through every emotion that you feel and choose which one to argue about wisely. By the end of the week, you realize that 90% of your stuff was things that you could have worked out within yourself. And then your one will actually be not only because you're not bickering all day long with your man, that one that you come to him about, you would have thought about it. And you actually really ponder on how much of an issue this is. And because you're not overdoing it to him, bickering at him all the time, he'll take it more seriously and want to address that.
Yeah.
So,
trusting your man as a man too. Why did you fall in love with him in the first place? I trust him. I know that he genuinely loves me, genuinely cares about me. He provides for me. We're cool. I don't need to make everything so heightened all the time. I trust his character. I know he's a good person. Mm-hmm. So why am I going to pretend his character became this evil human being all of a sudden and he switched up? It's not the case. So I also like keeping your man masculine. I like that. I don't want him to become feminine. So it is easier for me now. I was not like this at all a few years down the line, but a few years ago. But yeah, just I like to keep him masculine. I know how easy it is if I want to tear him down and I want to tear our relationship down to do it and make this a feminine relationship that I end up not even respecting and not even wanting to be in. So why do that? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think women, you got to learn to sit with yourself. And that's what I learned in therapy, is just asking myself, how big of a deal is this, and how much self-control and maturity do I have in myself and trust in my relationship that I can really work through this myself. And maybe it's actually an insecurity that you're having within yourself that you want him to be responsible for too, which that happens a lot. Like losing weight and in my postpartum journey, if I don't know, maybe he's like, I don't think you should wear that shirt yet. It's just not fitting right. I can choose my day if I'm going to make this a big deal. But I trust him. I know he loves me. I know he thinks I'm beautiful. I know he wants me to be able to wear this shirt and feel beautiful in it when there's pictures taken of me in it. And that's also my own insecurity. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling my best. And him saying that really got me, telling me maybe you shouldn't wear that shirt yet. So some of these things are own insecurity.
You shouldn't wear that shirt yet.
You told me that too. Yeah. So some of these things are our own insecurities that we want other people to be responsible for. You gotta have the trust in your man of who he is as a man and why you fell in love with him, and just always go back to that. It's easy to think of them as this terrible person when something slips out their mouth, or they're human too, or maybe they're having a bad day and they come home and say a slick comment or whatever, their facial expressions aren't the way it was yesterday. It's easy to magnify all those things. Yeah.
This also comes from you. I feel like just listening to you talk, you can honestly tap into like a more logical standpoint, and I think women do struggle with that. Like, you think logically.
Thank you.
You do. I think actually more women need to tap into that, like, for real. Because we always talk about, well, I'm a woman, I'm emotional, but it's honestly kind of destroying, because a lot of things that you said, right? Magnifying things is from, I feel like, being emotional. Like, oh, your face changed. Like, I feel some type of way. Like, everything's got to hit you in your heart. Yeah. So your core to where it's in your communication. But I want to go back a couple of points I want to magnify too. Like, even I remember, like, you were the one when I went through like that long separation for a year. You said, like, okay, if he even, I remember coming to you and I was sad about it and stuff, and you said, okay, but are you even ready? Like, you would say stuff like that. Are you even ready to come back into the marriage? Like, are your emotions in check? Can you handle when he comes back that you'll like act accordingly? Like, you always I just think that's a real skill. Maybe I'm just over here hyping your head up, but
I know.
I'm like, you're really good at just always looking at the situation and trying to pick out the positives and what good can come from it. And I think that's really what makes you a wife, to be honest with you. Like, you have really great, and you're a good friend, because you can take situations. I can come to you with like a mess, to be honest with you. And I think women should practice that more. I think we bring light to the world, and like all these negative emotions are like tearing it down. So one thing, I just wanted to hype your head up with that. But one thing you can do is, like, I can come to you with the mess. You can look at it and just be like, okay, what are the positives out of this? And how can we make this lighter and brighter for you? So, okay, if you are still in a marriage separation for a year, okay, well, that's more time for you to make sure you are trained up and you've practiced enough and you can have your emotions in check for when he gets home.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I just want to applaud you for that.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that part, or no?
I did when you were talking. Well, taking responsibility too. I think in that situation, both people played a role in why the separation happened, but I definitely think his was a little bit more easily fixable, and yours was, you had a little journey of the emotions, okay? And you have done amazing. You are amazing today. But and you did good, at taking responsibility and seeing, yeah, you're right, where I went wrong or where things were just slurring out of my mouth that were just uncalled for. And you don't want to lose your marriage. You don't want to lose your husband. And you don't want to stop respecting him, because once the respect is gone, it's out. So that's really important. Don't lose the respect for your husband. Look at him as, okay, he is a man. He is a leader. You don't want to tear him down.
So going off of that, I have some random questions to throw to you.
Oh, geez.
What are some big no-nos that women do that will strip away a man's masculinity that you've seen or heard? Like, what's a no-no for you? Like, what's something that like, you can never cross that with your man?
I don't know. This is good.
That's a good question.
A no-no with my man. I don't really go to him about things I can go to my girlfriends for. A lot of insecurities, if I'm having them, girl drama, little thoughts. I don't go to feminine issues to my man anymore. I noticed that recently.
And you think that will strip away a man's masculinity?
No, I just think if you want him to tap into that and validate you in like a feminine situation, and maybe he's not, maybe he's handling it more of as a man, that can make, I don't know, I think I'm thinking of this one situation that I had a falling out with someone, and he kind of acted like he didn't really care. It's not that big of a deal, and how it hurt my feelings. But a big no-no is, keeping feminine stuff. I don't really like that. No? I need to think of a better one.
Okay.
No, a better answer.
Well, I mean, what you're saying is good, though. It's like you don't really go to your man about feminine issues. You let him handle it in a masculine way. And I think men handle things just by a problem solve.
I'm trying to think of a big no-no. Have you recognized one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, don't shove, push. Don't.
Oh, I didn't know that's where we're going.
I mean,
duh.
Yeah.
Well,
those are
okay.
duh. Yeah, of course there's the duhs, but there's actually like probably like some women.
But have you noticed some in mine that you're like, you could tell I don't do that?
Yeah. You know what you do?
Okay.
Fascinating. Learned it from you, and I applied it, and it was great. With your man, mind if you ever watch her vlogs, you guys will see him. But like, he's very just
stern.
He is stern. Yes, he is. But he also, like, when we went out to go take your wedding photos, I went and took your picture of wedding photos. He was like,
I knew I had some other good ones.
No, it's good.
Podcasts are scary because you had to like come up on the spot. No. Okay. Yes.
You did good with that.
Really?
You handled that well. Yeah, because what happened was, for the audience, is that we went to go take her wedding photos.
Oh yeah.
And then you when you got the car with your wedding dress and he was in his fit, you said to me, we have about 30 minutes
before
he
over this picture stuff. He's not into this.
Yeah.
And I can't expect this grown man that likes to mow the lawn every Sunday, to be into taking these pictures with me.
Yeah.
I have 30 minutes before he starts showing it in his face.
And I started seeing it after 30 minutes. Like, I could see him be like, is that it? And you were like, okay, just a few more. And I was looking at you like, you were good with, like, okay, like, this is what we got. And then you even let him take his own photos and how he liked to do it. Because he was doing, like, certain poses.
Yeah,
like,
I knew how
certain poses that you're probably not going to post those pictures.
Yeah.
And you let him, though. Where I've seen where women can get quite controlling, be like, that's not how I want it, or I need you to take this seriously, I need you to care about this. But you're good at, like, if he doesn't care, you're okay with that. Like, you just let it go, and you're like, all right, can you at least give me 30 minutes and I will make it work with that time. And I love that you do that.
Okay.
I don't do that enough.
You know, now that you're bringing that up, another thing, he is really stern, and I want to keep him stern. I like that. That's actually a quality that I fell in love with that I was trying to take away in the beginning of our relationship, break it down at least. But even with, like, having people over, like,
people are in a comment saying that's that Jezebel spirit we was battling. Goodness gracious. But I'm trying to break it down.
Go ahead, sorry. He does have rules. He has rules in the household too, so I do have to tell him when someone's coming over. He does have a time limit. We got to wrap this up at 9:00. Like,
Ooh.
Everyone's out. I had to beg him to have, like, a holiday party or something at our house, and he had to know who was coming and when it's time for them to be out. And I remember I wanted to fight that so bad. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? No. This is his house. He pays these bills. You know what? I like this. And I don't mind I used to be embarrassed when people would see, or, like, friends would come over, or we'd be around each other, and they would see that he was pretty, like, he laid out the rules. And I was like, oh, this looks embarrassing because he looks a little like this could be controlling or whatever. I know I cannot be controlled. I know that about me, but I respect his rules. He deserves to have these rules. This is his house, you know. So, that is a big no. Like, I do allow your man to have his rules.
And obey.
That's very manly. And obey them. Be quiet. Like,
that's gonna go by.
Be quiet and obey those rules.
Yeah. Wow. Do you hear her, y'all?
Yeah. It's attractive.
Going to you about my issues has been so transforming.
It's attractive. And you can choose to see it that way. Like, yeah, he does have his rules. Be out by 9. See ya. Mm-hmm. That's cute. I like that. Why would you want to? No, I want them here. And did it, like,
so my last question, then we're going to go on to motherhood for the next 15 minutes. But sex in a marriage is really important.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. I thought this was a very classy podcast, but I came here dressed
classy. We're not going to talk about sex. We're
okay.
married, God-fearing women. We're not going to, like, dive into what we're doing in the bedroom. But what you're saying, though, of let him have his rules, listen, obey, and all this stuff, I noticed that, you know, when you talk to me, you do ask me questions sometimes. You don't anymore, but you were like, how often are you having sex and all this other stuff. Intimacy is a big deal for you, and I know that, I hope I can say this, but you obviously have a very healthy, intimate life, and there's people that don't, and I think that does correlate to how you're emasculating your man, or you don't respect him, and all this other stuff. Do you think that you listening, obeying to his commands a little bit more and his rules, and just, like, letting him be stern, has it contributed to you having such a healthy, intimate life?
Yeah, 100%. I think I actually, this was a topic in a therapy session. Going back to the testosterone is really important. It's actually something, you know, couples should actually check in and talk about more often. But if your man's testosterone is low and maybe you guys aren't getting along, or something's going on where you guys aren't having an intimate life. I don't know what words the sexual life.
Yeah.
Because his testosterone could be really low, and, you know, it goes in deeper than that. Why is it low? What's going on in the household? What's going on in your guys' marriage? And so to answer your question, yes, I think I find the rules, his provider mindset to be very attractive, and I want to keep it that way. And I mean, obviously, being healthy, being fit, being active, being happy all plays a part in your sexual life for both people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was good. Really good stuff. So moving on into that, I just want to promote your ebook. You guys, she has an ebook called More Than a Mom. You are a mom. I want to spend the last few minutes talking about that, but I know that femininity and masculinity is a big topic for my platform. So
I like that.
I'll probably have you on more for motherhood. Guys, comment below, ladies, if you really like hearing from her, if you want to hear her more talk about motherhood. But just to get into that, you are the first of the siblings. We just were on the phone with our brother, by the way. We just were on the phone with him. But you are the first because, we're all married, but you're the first one that had a child. And you were the first one kind of in it.
I know.
I think we helped for the most part.
Yeah.
I think I helped. I'm here.
Yeah,
we're helping.
Battling stuff inside is
you had to face it by yourself. It's not like we were able to be as your older siblings. You're the youngest of us three. And you had to face it kind of by yourself and figure it out. Mm-hmm. You also didn't have friends that were pregnant either, but one.
Mm-hmm.
So you were really alone in this. And I kind of especially to promote your ebook, really proud of you, by the way.
Thank you.
What you kind of want to share about that experience and what you wish that more women, talked about, because I know that's something we kind of talk about, more women talk about, and just your experience going into motherhood by yourself.
Yeah, I found out I was pregnant, and I was actually only engaged. I was kind of in a place where I was like, let's just move slow with this whole getting married thing, because none of our friends were married. None of them were even engaged at the time. So I was like, let's just slow down. We can be engaged for a few years. Let our friends catch up. And right when I tried to plan my own life, bam, pregnant. It's like God was like, no, you don't get to plan this. Go get your butt married. And now you're having a child. So it's like right when I wanted to slow down, God sped it up. That was really hard. I wish there was more support on people that get the positive pregnancy test and just need help dealing with that. And I mean, I didn't plan on being a mom for a very long time. I didn't actually know if I cared to be a mom at that point. I just wasn't interested in any of that stuff regarding motherhood. So I really had to sit with God and ask him, what do I do with this? I don't feel motherly at all. How do I start with this? And then postpartum. Where's the talk on that? I mean, that's real stuff. Those emotions are real. And I mean, I thought that was harder than pregnancy, dealing with finding out I was pregnant. I mean, postpartum was just, you were completely out of your own body at that point, which is normal. It's everything trying to regulate and go back down and stuff like that. So I do wish that was talked about more. I do lightly touch on my book about how God finds mothers that's a very important role to God. And if you look in the Bible and you see what he says about motherhood, it could really help you take on this journey. So I do touch on that in my ebook.
That's beautiful. So, because I talked about an episode about abortion, and that just all the things that are negative about abortion biblically, from even what doctors have said and everything like that. And I think we live in a society that just kind of, you see a lot of more selfish people that don't want to take
their own life.
Yeah, they choose their own life. And I don't even want to say that's selfish, because some people aren't going to be moms. Some people aren't called to be married. Some people aren't called to that. Mother being in a motherly position could look like helping other people's children and stuff like that. So, I don't want to say selfish people, but I think what you're saying, you didn't have friends. Your siblings didn't have children. I mean, you kind of took on that alone, and it probably was very scary. And I think that you found in your faith why God upholds that position. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about that for maybe people that are scared?
And for the people that are scared, when I found out I was pregnant, it was really early on, and I actually made 2 abortion appointments. And the day of, I didn't show up to them.
Wow.
Yeah, I made 2 different appointments. Didn't go to them because the entire time I was just crying myself to sleep, praying to God, like, how do I do this? I just didn't feel motherly. That was my biggest problem, was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm trying to be in Miami. Like,
Yeah, you were trying.
Me and my man trying to
drink a pina
get a
colada.
townhouse and go to Miami. I can't do that with this child and some bottles and diapers. So I slowly was feeling myself be open to even the little stuff. This is crazy, but like, I was praying, like, I don't want to do this. I booked these abortion appointments. How do I get through this? And then I would find myself like waking up the next day, not interested in following certain people online anymore that were posting single life or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm not really into watching their lives right now. And then the next day, maybe it was something else. Like, I felt myself like in a calmer state where I wasn't even interested in moving to big cities anymore. So it was like every day I was feeling God work through me. Like, you got this. And that's actually what led me to not even go to those abortion appointments. And you have 9 months to prepare. And I really feel like women have 9 months of pregnancy to prepare for this for a reason. God really, every month I was a completely different person. I was a better person. Wow. I was becoming more motherly. God knows what he's doing with those 9 months of time. That's a lot of time to change. And I changed. I even changed the people I was into talking to. I mean, it got to a point so early on, I wasn't even interested in friends that I was having. I was just like, I'm not interested in these conversations. Like, I don't care to get on the calls with you anymore. Like, I need some other wisdom. I need some other friends. And I was reaching out to other really great moms I met online that really helped walk me through the rest of my pregnancy journey. And I went from totally not into even thinking about that, didn't even want kids, to feeling completely ready by month 9. I was like, got this.
And you do amazing.
Thank you.
I love Los Smushes. Oh my goodness.
I love
so
her.
cute. And
I
you
smush.
love her.
I do.
Even if she's gone for a couple hours, you're
I stress.
ready to come get her. And she looks like you. And she's so cute.
Yeah.
So would you say that there was a part of you that died, you know?
Oh, yeah. And it needed to go. Now I look back at it and I was just like, that wasn't even what I needed to be doing, or conversations, gossiping on the phone with people, those type of friends. We just gossiped all the time. I don't even need that.
Wow.
I have a daughter now. Like, I can't sit on the phone and gossip and do that. So for women that are struggling, God gave you this child for a reason. And even if you're completely like, what do I do with this? I don't want this. I was the same exact way. You really got to give the journey to God. You really have to turn it over and be like, okay, why'd you give this to me? Let's see. Just give it a chance. Things started turning so fast. My mindset started turning so fast. My favorite color changed so fast. Like, you really got to turn this entire thing and be like, okay, I got to go sit with God on why I'm pregnant. Because I'm pregnant. And I could choose to show up at this abortion appointment and choose my life and go this route. Or I can sit with God and be like, what do I do? What is this? Why do you think I could do this? He'll really show you that you have it in you.
You know what? It's kind of like what marriage does to you, too.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, marriage has humbled me. Goodness gracious. It makes me constantly have to sit with myself.
I like it, though.
I do
like
too.
the
I like the
challenge.
challenge. Like, oh, it hurts.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
All right. Okay. How you want me to grow, God?
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's like motherhood and marriage are quite testimonies. But I hope you guys do go read her book, More Than Mom, because she just talks so much more about that. And
I do.
And I'm really
friendships changing, how to still prioritize yourself, not lose yourself in motherhood. That's a really big one I was scared of, is, okay, I still want to notice me in the mirror. So yeah, I talk a lot about stuff to help with the newborn nights. Those were tough. So.
And that'll be linked down, guys, in the bio. If you're in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, I'll have the link to your ebook. My last question with that, though, since we're going to kind of just wrap up here, is that how can men be there for the women during pregnancy and postpartum? You had a lot of support. Your man was so excited to be a dad.
He was.
I'd be looking at him and watching him. If you're watching, Keaton, I'd be watching him and I'm like, I could never picture my husband doing the thing
until they become a dad.
Because he'll be like,
he was not that.
And
he
I'm
was
just
not
like,
saying those
will my
things.
husband ever act like that? Because he's so like one note.
God steps them into a fatherly role. They're not fathers yet. Give them a chance.
Ooh.
So with that, though, because I just cut you off, but I knew where you were going.
Yeah.
How can men be there for their woman postpartum? It's both of your guys' first times doing this. And if it's not, maybe it's the second child. It's both of your guys' first time mothering this child. You're both learning for the first time what this child's needs are. You're trying to learn the baby's trying to learn you. Just giving each parent grace, time, patience while they figure this out. Don't, oh, you're not doing this right, or, oh, I need to just take this over. Let's see if his way works,
Wow.
Which had some...
Once again, goes back to the masculinity thing. Though.
Yeah, and that's worked. I mean, there's some instances where that really did work. But, it's your guys' first time both trying to learn this new stage of your life and giving each other both grace and the time to figure it out and letting them see them as a father and you seeing you as a mother. And it's hard to learn the baby in the beginning. It's really hard. So just moving really slow with each other.
And you guys, and I hate to bring this up too, but you've talked about this to me quite a few times, and I just want to use the last couple of minutes. You do talk about, I don't know if you talk about it in your book, but you've talked about that you do have a healthy, intimate life even with a baby postpartum. There's a lot of women that don't.
I know.
How is it that, like, what encouragement can you have? Because also, like, there are women that I see, and mind you, I haven't tapped into this. I want to make that all clear to everybody. I haven't had a baby yet or nothing. I don't know how, like, it goes or how I would feel. But there's a lot of women that they don't want to have sex with their man postpartum at all. Mm-hmm. But, you stress so much in marriage and everything of your life that you need to be with your man intimately. Like, you do.
It bonds you.
Yeah. Talk a little bit more about that, because that's another thing about letting a man be a man, I feel like, that we don't want to discuss and talk about. We try to belittle them for that. But testosterone, a man with a lot of testosterone is a sexual man and has a sexual appetite.
They have to release their testosterone too.
Yeah.
I think we gotta just
go ahead.
I feel bad making this so inappropriate.
How is it inappropriate? It's not.
Okay.
We're married.
God
okay. Has blessed us to be able to do that.
So a big part of that postpartum, you just don't feel like yourself right away. You just gave birth, so nothing really looks the same right now. I really took care of myself because I knew, all right, I'm insecure right now. I don't feel good. I don't feel attractive. And I want to go back to feeling that way. I want to feel like myself. I want to feel attractive. I want to have energy. So I really prioritized that right away. I mean, from the day I got out of the hospital, I was like taking care of myself too. Taking care of yourself, walking, getting outside, getting sunlight, working out, gym, whatever, after having a baby, getting back to recognizing yourself again is also a part of taking care of your children. Taking care of yourself is also a part of taking care of your children. And people forget that. They get lost in that. And yeah, that also helps your marriage. I don't think we need to just sit around and lay in it. If you're not feeling good, you're not feeling confident, you don't have to sit in that. You don't have to. You can choose to get up and be like, no, I'm going to work every day to feel like myself again. Whether that's just diet or that's just walking with your newborn outside every day and tracking your steps or whatever. But all of those things feel so good taking care of yourself, because 9 months of pregnancy, it's really about growing the baby. And once the baby's out, you can finally start taking steps to care about yourself. So yeah, sex life after a baby, it actually mended itself perfectly fine, because I made it a priority to go feel like myself again and feel attractive for myself. Made me a better mom and a better wife ultimately.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, Maya, so much. If you guys love her, which I know you guys will, I would love to have you on again. But this is my secret weapon, you guys, too.
I like
Being a feminine woman, I am so blessed to have my sister, because she is who I learned so much from, and I get to run to for all my issues. And a lot of people don't have a sister, someone they could run to the way I have you. So check out her book. You can support her. Yes. And yeah, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have a book right now called Men, We Need You. Yeah. It's free right now for all the month of March. So please go download that right now, you guys, because it just talks about appreciating men and masculine. It has prayers for the men as well. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.